It's a police officer's prayer. I can't say that it's for everybody, but I can't take credit for it either, but I did add a little bit to it. Lord, I ask for courage, courage to face and conquer my own fears, courage to take me where others will not go. I ask for strength, strength of body to protect others, strength of spirit to lead others. I ask for dedication, dedication to my job to do it well, dedication to my community to keep it safe. Give me, Lord, concern for all those who trust me and compassion for those who need me. And please, Lord, through it all, be at my side. Return me home safe to see my family another day. Amen. Amen.
This is one of my favorite readings, and I'd like to share it with you this morning. About who we are. We're sorry if we woke you in the middle of the night, but someone in your neighborhood is fighting for their life. We're sorry we blocked the road and we made you turn around, but there's a bad wreck with injured people on the ground. When you see us coming, I hope you'll understand. Let us have the right of way. Someone needs a helping hand. Sometimes a child is choking, sometimes a leg is broken, sometimes a heart stops beating. If we don't arrive, it may be too late. So if you see us crying when we think we are alone, you'll know we had a bad one and we're feeling mighty down. We don't do it for the money, we don't do it for the glory, but for the life that might be saved. Somewhere deep within us, our souls are crying out. We're here to help our neighbors in their hour of pain and doubt. God gave us something special to help see us through. We do it because we love you and we care about you too.
Good morning. On behalf of the police and fire department and KEMS, I'd like to thank Pastor Roof and the congregation of this church for this day of appreciation. What I'm going to read is really not a prayer, it was a poem. It's more of a poem that was written in the memory of James D. Williams, Fire Department, New York City, Ladder 121, and all the firefighters who gave their lives so others may live. Brother, when you weep for me, remember that it was meant to be. Lay me down, and when you leave, remember I'll be at your sleeve. In every dark and choking hall, I'll be there as you slowly crawl. On every roof in driving snow, I hold your coat and you will know. In cellars hot with steaming heat, at windows where a gate you meet, in closets where young children hide, you know I'll be there at your side. The house from which I now respond is overstaffed with heroes gone. As firemen, we understand that death's a card dealt in our hand, a card we hope we never pray, but one we hold there anyway. That card is something we ignore as we crawl across a weakened floor. For we know that we're the only prayer for anyone that might be there. So remember as you wipe your tears, the joy I knew throughout the years, as I did the job I love to do. I pray that thought will see us through. On this, the 10th anniversary of 9/11, I'd like to give a few facts that I bet a lot of us have forgotten. On that day, 2,996 people lost their lives at the World Trade Center. That included 343 firefighters and 60 police officers. The number of nations that had people killed was 115. The towers burned from 56 minutes to 102 minutes, but fell to the ground in 12 seconds. At the Pentagon that same day, 70 civilians and 55 military were also killed. Since that time, somewhere between 350 and 400 firefighters and police officers have died from lung cancer due to their working at the Trade Center, and that figure is climbing every day. Disability retirement from the fire department alone is over 1,400 people from lung and other related problems. That is costing the city, or has cost the city, over $800 $126 million, and that is 10% of the workforce of the fire department, and that is growing each day. So at this time, I would like everybody to please stand for a moment of silence as we pray for all those victims of this tragedy. May God go with them. Amen.
At this time, I would like to introduce our preacher for this morning. She is Lieutenant Colonel Elizabeth McLaughliin. She is an Army judge advocate, a lawyer, currently assigned to the headquarters of the Massachusetts National Guard, where she serves as general counsel to the Commonwealth's senior military leaders. She joined the Army almost 18 years ago after finishing law school and has served on active duty and in the reserve components. Liz was raised here in Kennebunkport, attended local schools, and graduated from Yale University. I had to add that. She is the daughter of Dan and Sarah Beard. She is a niece through marriage of Bob McLaughliin and Elaine Triplett. And she currently lives in Rhode Island with her husband Charles and their two sons, Michael and Ian. Thank you. And I hope that as we pray together, will join me in prayer as we pray for her in giving her message this morning. Oh Lord, let the words of her mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen.
Good morning. Good morning. I've been warned to use my outside voice, which is usually not a problem for me. Can everyone hear me? Yes. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Pastor Ruth, thank you for inviting me here. On September 11th, 2001, 4 groups of young men hijacked 4 American planes with the intent of killing American citizens. They were spectacularly successful. Not only did they kill all those who were aboard the aircraft, but they also were responsible for the deaths of thousands of people at the sites where those planes crashed. Although they failed to destroy our center of government in Washington, D.C., failed to destroy our military headquarters at the Pentagon, and failed to bring down the American economic machine that we call Wall Street, those men changed the way of life in America forever. The men who took control of those planes were terrorists, plain and simple. But what motivated them to sacrifice themselves, planning actions that would certainly result in not only their own deaths, but the deaths of thousands of others? Those men became terrorists in the name of God. Their deaths and their willingness to take the lives of countless others were designed to achieve objectives directly linked to and supported by their religious goals. So here's the issue. We know what the terrorists of 9/11 were doing in the name of God 10 years ago. What were we doing then? And what are we doing now in the name of God? What were we doing then? Some people in this room were serving God in ways that potentially put their own lives at risk. This church service was designed specifically to honor those here in the front 3 rows who would serve in first responder roles, law enforcement, fire department, and ambulance service. The contrast between the terrorists who served God by killing and the firemen who climbed the stairs of the World Trade Center who served God by saving lives is extreme and powerful. Although we honor those first responders from New York in particular on this anniversary day, we recognize that it's not just New York City firemen who are brave. Had those terrorists chosen to attack San Francisco, Chicago, or a tiny little town in Maine called Kennebunkport, other firemen, police, and EMTs would have responded likewise, because that is what they do in the name of God. What were those who were not wearing uniforms doing in the name of God on 9/11? They were doing everyday things that show God's love. Parents were packing lunches and seeing their kids off to school. Office workers were buying donuts to share with colleagues. Teachers were preparing students for lives as educated Americans. Healthcare professionals were healing the sick and alleviating pain. Federal, state, and local officials were beginning the day's work of juggling competing needs with limited resources. And on and on and on. Loving, teaching, helping, healing in accordance with God's instructions. What are we doing today in the name of God? All of us in this room are growing the next generation of first responders. We are mentoring, teaching, coaching, and nurturing those who will take over the work of protecting us from harm, administering life-saving first aid, and pulling us to safety from burning buildings. We are also growing the next generation of military members like myself, people who protect not only us as individuals, but our way of life in this world. This leadership this community gives, the purposeful dedication to the growth of our successors, is among the greatest of our responsibilities as a community. We are the caretakers. We must leave this community prepared to take care of itself and in better shape than we found it. Not only that, we must ensure that members of this community have the confidence to do the loving and healing work of God wherever they may go. First responders and military members don't stand alone. We are also growing the next generation of siblings, spouses, and friends who stand in harm's way. We are and friends of those who stand in harm. Let me start again. First responders and military members don't stand alone. We are also growing the next generation of siblings, spouses, and friends of those who stand in harm's way. We are mentoring, teaching, coaching, and nurturing those who will wait at home until a loved one returns from a call to duty, who will comfort a loved one when a life-saving mission fails, and who will understand and support the special quality that enables people to put themselves in harm's way for others. What are you doing to grow the next generation? What do you have to give? Can you coach a team? Lead a scout troop? Give a young person a job? Write a check for a local scholarship fund? Inspire someone to care enough about others to be willing to risk their own lives? Can you, do you lead by example in this community? Do we volunteer at church and at school? Do we sit on boards and committees? Do we attend parades and community events? Do we live with courage and confidence that our efforts in the name of God will prevail over those of terrorists? Without you, there can't be people like me. I am just one member of the current generation of public servants who was produced by this town. I grew up under the mentorship of people like music teacher Keith McLaughliin, bike shop owner Peter Sargent, minister Bob Howes, swimming teacher Vivian Fessenden, and countless room mothers, coaches, and philanthropists who gave of their time, talent, and treasure. I am living proof that this community has the power to grow those who serve. Today, we sit here in the past, the present, and the future. We remember and honor those who courageously gave their lives 10 years ago when terrorists killed Americans in the name of God. We thank those who stand here with us for their bravery and their ongoing willingness to protect, heal, and save us when we most need it, even at risk to themselves. And we contemplate our future, contrasting the terrorists' actions in the name of God with our own actions, and understanding that growing the next generation of those who will protect, save, and heal the members of this community, as well as those who will stand with them, is God's true work. Thank you. I'm honored to be here. I'm pleased to be asked to join you.